The French President Emmanuel Macron publicly declared on September 15, and I quote, "In Niger, as I speak to you, we have an ambassador and diplomatic members who are literally taken hostage at the French embassy." He added, "The ambassador no longer has the possibility of leaving. He is persona non grata and they are preventing him from feeding himself." End quote. Several videos have been going around online showing people in Niger allegedly intercepting the delivery of food and drinks to the French embassy or the French military base. And this is what we are working with today. But let's rewind and refresh our memories. On July 26, the French ambassador in Niger was given 48 hours to leave the country. But the French government refused to call him, and he also decided to refuse to comply with the host country's demands, and he was praised by his president for disrespecting Niger authority and people by refusing to leave. But it is interesting that the same President Macron would come out to refer to this as a hostage situation. It's like the landlord demanding you to leave their property and you refusing to comply because one of the landlord's children had allowed you to live there. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's an illegal migrant in Niger. I think the French president is being disingenuous, pretending to be concerned, because this can easily be compared to the conditions in which illegal migrants in France live under. They have no papers or legal status to be on the French territory. They are not allowed to work, but sometimes employers would illegally employ them, exploit them, and poorly pay them. But they can't complain because they need the money. And those employers know that and they play with that. Those who are not, working illegally are either in detention centers or homeless, relying on the kindness of decent human beings who still live among us and who have also struggled and suffered under Macron's leadership of La France. At least the ambassador is not being held in detention center while waiting for his papers to be processed. He has somewhere nice to sleep, he has military rations, and is enjoying the African sun. Plus, he's free to leave at any time he wishes to do so. This man is the personification of the saying, "The hardest prison to escape is in our mind." The reality of the matter is this: the French ambassador is the only one holding himself hostage because he can choose to comply with Niger's demand and leave, which is in accordance with the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Article 9 gives the host nation the right to declare any member of the diplomatic staff persona non grata and ask them to leave within a reasonable period of time. The sending state shall either recall the person or terminate the duty of the person. Article 22. The convention also states that the premises of the mission must be respected and protected by the host nation, but it does not prevent the host nation from imposing reasonable restriction on access. For example, on September 15, yesterday, Burkina Faso ordered Emmanuel Pasquier, the French embassy's defense attaché, to leave the country, and he was given 2 weeks to leave due to subversive behavior, according to Reuters. And I'm wondering if this incident is connected with what happened in Niger last week on September 6, when a van leaving the French embassy in the capital city was stopped and searched by the local authorities, and inside they found Burkinabe military uniforms. However, the explanation given was that it belongs to a French defense attaché who was previously based in Burkina Faso. Anyways, Niger's government revoked the ambassador and his family visas, meaning he's no longer serving in his capacity as an ambassador, and as far as Niger is concerned, is illegal. Basically, he has no legal basis to claim that he's being held hostage. But in my opinion, this is a political tantrum and a ploy to provoke a military conflict. Last month, Niger's leaders denounced the military agreement with France and demanded the departure of the 1,500 French troops from their territory. But, like their ambassador, they've also refused to leave. Now, according to reports, France has been sending military personnel and equipment to neighboring countries like Senegal, Benin, and Côte d'Ivoire. We also know that France has been pushing the West African bloc, ECOWAS, to opt for a military intervention against a government that took over the country in a bloodless coup. France has consistently refused to recognize the current leadership in Niger and demanded that Bazoum be reinstated. But France is demanding all these things as who? And the French president claims he talks to the ousted president Bazoum every day and considers him to be the legitimate president of Niger. I mean, out of curiosity, why the hell does Bazoum still have a phone? This is not a crisis, people. This is France throwing tantrum and creating unnecessary problems when they can just pack up their bags and leave as requested by the host country. However, it also shows that they are stuck in the past and they are having problems understanding that people will no longer accept their nonsense. Like I said before, Bazoum or French interests are not above Niger. But this situation also shows the character of Mr. Bazoum. We have an ousted president who could easily come out and do the following for the greater good of his people and country. I am stepping down, full stop, in order to prevent this thing that France is cooking behind the scene and save the lives of the people in Niger. However, it seems like he's willing to let the country burn just for greed and power. If I cannot have it, then nobody should have it. This is just unacceptable, man. If it's your first time interacting with my content, I would like to welcome you and let you know that I have a podcast on YouTube full of non-political stories. You can find it in the podcast sections of the channel. I also have a book of Proverbs which you can access through the link below. Moreover, I create fire content that speaks for itself. Please check out my catalog and thank you for your time.
We, ni nini?